What's going on? Welcome back to Real World Tool Reviews. And today we're going to revisit a tool setup that I've talked about in the past that I think I've perfected. I've done a video on this Veto MB2, which is what I use for my HVAC troubleshooting bag. And man, I use this bag in the summertime like crazy. And I believe that with the addition of this snap-on screw gun, I have actually perfected this little setup. So I figured we'd just do a revisited tool bag tour of this. Setup is pretty much the same, a little different probably than the last time we did it. So I'll start. This is the Veto MB2, and it's just been a great bag. I took the tape clip off of it because it was annoying, so I just keep the tape kind of stuffed in there. You got to have electrical tape, but other than that, this is how I use it, and this has just got the best setup right here. So first off, we'll start on the front here. Got my little odds and ends. So I've got one of these UEI thermometers. We'll let it tell us how hot it is in my shop right now. Yeah, 90 freaking 6 degrees in here. So hadn't put a mini split in here yet. One of these days I'll put some insulation in here and some plywood over in between over the studs and put insulation behind it and put a mini split in here. But well, down to 95.7, you know. But this is a great little thermometer. It's got magnets on it so you can stick it up on a register or on an air return, and it just tells you a lot. I just use one. I mean, a lot of people have two of these, but for what I need, this is for quick checks, so you know. But this UEI thermometer is a great little tool for HVAC. And then I keep these two little Fluke alligator clips because I love to have alligator clips when I'm doing testing, a lot of testing. So right here is just a little jumper. You got to have a jumper for low voltage air conditioner work. You just got to. And you know, a lot of times when I'm using this bag, I'm diagnosing electrical problems. So, and the best thing ever for that is this meter right here. It's just the best. Sometimes the leads get all stuck in here. It actually fits really well in there, but it seems like every time I do a video showing this, it becomes difficult to get out. But anyway, this is the best meter ever for electrical troubleshooting on air conditioners and really anything else. It's just a great Fluke 116. The 117 is the one that does a little bit more, but the 116 is actually geared towards HVAC. And one thing that I love about it is it's got this little magnetic strap, which I wish it was actually just on the back of it where you could just pop it on a meter. But the strap is great because you can put it on there and then you can take all your panel screws and put it on that little magnet, which is what I used to always do until I got this. We'll talk about this in a second. But there's something about this Fluke meter that's just awesome. It just is so no nonsense, no BS. It just gets the job done. It doesn't jump around and dance around. It just does exactly what I want it to do. It does temperature, which I never really use, but does everything else, you know. Continuity ohms, microfarads for capacitors, voltage. Yeah, it's just a great meter. It also has this auto volt setting, so it'll tell you whether it'll automatically test it, whether it's DC or AC. It'll know what it is. I've never really used that, but it's got it, you know. Most of these meters, everybody only uses a few settings, even though they come with a million for what we do. And then, still rocking with this great little parts container for, you know, butt connectors and different little panel screws and stuff. Always keep some 3 amp and 5 amp fuses, and I usually have Schrader valves that, I think the last time I did this video I was out of Schrader valves too. I'm always replacing Schrader valves. So, but a little pill container like this is a great little parts container for HVAC, especially just on the go. You know, you got to replace a burnt up butt connector on a board or something. That's great to have those in here. You know, I always keep the insulated ones in there too. Goodman blower boards like to burn up, and the wires get all burnt up and stuff. So that's little electrical testing stuff. And then on the sides is my most used little tool. So we've talked about this a million times, but this is my HVAC 8-in-1 Klein. It's got this slide 1/4 inch and 5/16 magnetic, and it's just your everyday HVAC companion. It's just the best. You need to pop off the thermostat and mess with that. Got a little thermostat screwdriver. You got your Phillips and your flat, and then you've got your Schrader valve tool. So that's really awesome. And then it's got a 3/8 nut driver here as well. So this right here is one of the best tools Klein makes. And if you work on air conditioners a lot, this is just a no-brainer. You got to get it. And then my go-to little channel locks just for service caps and any type of little channel lock work that you might need. These are just one of my oldest pairs, ones I've been using forever. Great little channel locks. And then this little light I put in here because I found myself needing just a little flashlight. And I like this one because it's not complicated. It's just on, off, no nonsense about it. It's the Milwaukee. And if you need to mess around in an air handler, you know, you can put this in your mouth. And even though it's gross, you can put this rubbery stuff in your mouth and, you know, hold it in between your teeth, and it's not so weird with that metal on your teeth. It's a nice little cushiony rubber for putting a flashlight in your mouth, which is gross. And then on this side, there's a zip tie I already cut with these little cutters, which is mainly what I use these little Nipex cutters for. And they're great. They're just a solid, they actually cut pretty, you know, they got some high leverage to them for such tiny little cutters. And they're great for just cutting zip ties. I'd like to get a pair of flush cuts. I'd like to get the Snap-on flush cuts. I might get the Icon ones from Harbor Freight, which are copies of the Snap-on, because flush cuts are great for zip ties. And I do have some flush cuts, those Fujiya orange ones that I got, but they are too big for this. So I like this little 6-inch pair of cutters for this bag, and it fits in perfect with another one of my favorite Klein tools, these Klein multi-pliers. They got a crimper, they got machine screw cutters, but they're just a good pair of needle nose and strippers and cutters. So it's really an awesome little setup for this bag, you know, because it's a small troubleshooting bag, and a lot of the time I'm fixing wiring stuff. You know, you go up to a unit that's not working, something's burned up, or you just need to replace an electrical part, or, you know, something like that. You just need a good pair of wire strippers / needle nose type of electrical tools. And you just have a crimper, which actually is a really good crimper to be on a pair of multipliers like this. But that being said, I don't really use it that much anymore because of this, which is the best pair of crimpers that you can get. This style anyway. This is a channel lock brand, but you can get the Klein ones or the Greenlee ones or whatever. I'd actually like to have the Snap-on pair of this too. I want to get the Snap-on wiring set that comes with these, the flush cuts, and the little wire stripper tool. But anyway, these channel lock ones are awesome, man. They got a real high leverage nipper cutter too. So sometimes if I really want to get in somewhere and cut a zip tie or something, I'll use these cutters. But this is a very high leverage, good crimper for connectors. And you do not want those connectors being loose or bad crimps, because they'll burn up and you'll be going back. And you don't want to destroy somebody's new part that they just paid for or something just because you didn't do a good crimp. So these are the best crimpers on the best style of crimpers that you can get, and everybody should use these to crimp if they can. Here's just some electrical tape. And then I keep 2 insulated screwdrivers in here just for hooking into air handlers, basically. This Phillips WEHA, I love these WEHA handles on these. You can get these insulated screwdrivers from WEHA for a pretty good price. I want to say I paid $35 or something for the set. It was like a 6-piece set or something. They're really good, made in Germany. Really nice handle. So I keep the Phillips one in here, and every once in a while I just need to get in a panel and I want to have it insulated just in case I might arc on something inside a panel or inside mostly inside air handlers around circuit boards and relays and transformers, stuff like that. I have arced stuff before, so I just use the insulated. And same with the flathead. You know, I'm always reaching in there and popping a connector off of something, or, you know, something like that. And so that's what I use this insulated. This is an Ideal. I like the Ideal. You can get the Ideal Phillips and flat for pretty cheap. And I like the handles. They're not cushiony. They're a harder kind of rubbery handle. So I like them. They're good. And then I keep, when in the summertime, I usually keep this, which is, this light has lived in many tool bags. It kind of lives in my everyday tool bag most of the time, but this is my little snap-on. It's an awesome light for putting in a unit, sticking in a furnace, sticking in an air handler, sticking in a condensing unit, and working somewhere. So I use this one all the time. It's got a really strong magnet and really bright light for just really, you need to shine some light in and work on something for a minute. This light's awesome for that. And then I use just the red gauge with a little hose on it for quick checks for pressure. Because, you know, I've seen people that have the blue and the red for like a little on-the-go testing, but the red goes up on the PSI scale, you know, for both. I can use it to check the low side too. It'll tell me the PSI. And that's really all I'm testing is pressure when I'm just doing a quick check. So I can take head pressure, move it to the low side, check the low side, and you know, it's perfect. Then if I need to charge it, or if I need to really, you know, put my manifolds on there, my digital gauges, put them on there if I really need to do some more. But 90% of the time, this tells me everything I need to know. And it fits in this little bag, so it's great. I hate going to grab manifolds all the time, you know. And then this is the Klein laser gun. So right now it's pretty accurate. So it's saying it's 96 on this tabletop, and my UEI is saying 94.4. It was saying 96 before. Make it point in the same spot. So close enough for quick reference when you're just poking it up shooting this up at a air register or something, or a return. All it really is just to show the customer, like, all right, you're blowing out 55 degrees, we're good, you know. This actually doesn't really take the temperature of the air. It takes the temperature of the surface that the laser is pointing at. So just bear that in mind. You're not going to get perfect accuracy. This UEI one's more accurate. So that's just my basic little troubleshooting stuff. And then there's one last thing that's very important. And that's the newest thing. Some of you guys have seen this in other videos, and some people think I'm stupid for paying a lot for this. Other people love it. I love this screw gun. This is the Snap-on brushless CTS 861. and it's become my favorite thing for air conditioners because you know you take all those screws off of panels, and where you put the screws is, you know, just one of those things. So I always keep some extra panel screws in my little box, but you know, and then I keep this little reversible 1/4 inch and 5/16 magnetic. This is a DeWalt one. Most guys use the Malcos. I broke all my Malcos, so I bought this. I bought this DeWalt. But anyway, you know, I love this rocker trigger. It gives you a lot of you do your torque settings so you don't over torque it, and you know, it's just kind of zip them off, and then once you take them out, you put them right there on the bottom. You know, so you're taking the panel off, and you're just throwing them on this super strong magnet that you can buy for these Snap-on batteries, and that's just sweet right there. You know, you won't lose them. It's just perfect. You know, zip it off. Got your screws right here. You know, and then once you go to put everything back together, you got them right here, and just zip them back on, baby. You know, it's really, it makes working on this stuff just a lot more enjoyable to have this. It's just, I can't even explain how much I love having that Snap-on. And you know, I was fine using my favorite, what I always use forever and still love is my Bosch, because it's real small. It's got a belt clip, which I wish the Snap-on had a belt clip, but you know, it was great. But man, the Snap-on it just gives you so much control, and it's so ergonomic. And having that battery on that magnet on the battery really makes a big difference. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that I have put together the best setup for troubleshooting air conditioners. Now, this is YouTube, and everybody's got an opinion. Everybody has something to say about what they're, you know, what they think about what they think is the best, what works the best. And somebody probably will say that I'm missing something or thinks that what I have is stupid or whatever. But I think this is the best setup ever. I think everybody should just do exactly what I've done, and they'll be good to go for troubleshooting anyways. You're not fixing everything with this, but you are good for just troubleshooting, figuring it out, and fixing a lot of problems with this. You know, electrical issues especially, just fix it and move on, you know. So anyway, I've been working on air conditioners just a ton this summer, and I figured I'd do a revisit of one of my favorite setups that I have. So anyway, thanks for watching.